Kohima de New Zealand laga officials are on Nagaland majodi December 15 de Kiwi fruit cultivation upper cooperation meeting lushe. Meeting the hotel vivor lushe kude state director of horticulture laga joint director S Sinkabra Nagaland de Kiwi fruit laga origination upper kota khrishe. Sinkabra janaishege horticulture department bra state kiwi laga cultivation do 2001 साल दे शुरू करिছে सिनगावरा गहिमा बैक जनपद किफरी नखलाक आरो ट्विनसांगदो potential kiwi grower districts as sequina identified krisharo New Zealand লগত partner kurigina production quality efficiency aro market access de parawati bokuise program de New Zealand laga officials permi kota korise details saisabo
We are also excited to see that the Nagaland also grows kiwi like New Zealand, as the then Union Agriculture Minister has said that Nagaland should be kiwi state of India. So we are also looking on that line. And recently, we also have identified these particular crops as one promising horticultural crop found in Nagaland. Therefore, we are also taking this kiwi fruit activity in a very serious way. And after seeing you here, your seriousness and your cooperation here, we are so excited.
Nagaland, as we are all aware, is still a very agrarian state. 70% of its population depend on agriculture. And today, the horticulture sector is emerging as one of the very important sector in Naga farmers, in the lives of Naga farmers. And it is making an impact on the economic and, it's really improving the economy of the Naga people. We are blessed with very good biodiversity, and even the climate, it is really supporting us to grow many agricultural products, especially horti. And we see that in the years, especially the few years, we are growing a lot of horticultural producers. Our type of farming is usually indigenous type of farming, and you can say that we really have organic type of farming. And today we are growing one of the hottest chilies in the world. That is a Naga King chili, and it is in 2007. I think it went into the Guinness World of Records as the world's highest and the hottest chili. And we also grow pineapples, and which has 18 bricks, and of course we are growing kiwis today, and for which we are all together today. So we have a lot of potentialities, but the only problem why we're not able to scale up is because of the lack of logistics and proper infrastructures and technical knowledge, research, and market linkages and all that. And I believe that is one of the reasons why we depend on you, Zespri, and the government of India for this collaboration. We may be lacking in a lot of infrastructures and all these techniques, but I assure you that we Nagas are sincere, hardworking, and we are committed. And our government is also, like our CM tonight, he has assured us full, cooperation and support.
I guess I would just make a few opening sort of comments more broadly about Zespri and what we see as the outlook for the kiwi fruit industry, and also what we are doing here. And then I'll pass to my colleagues, including Steph, who I'm sure is the person you most want to hear from. She is the person with all of the knowledge. I guess at Zespri, so for context, we are the sales and marketing organisation for New Zealand's 2,800 kiwi fruit growers, and we work with 1,200 growers in our Northern Hemisphere production locations. We are very proud to say we are one of the world's leading fruit brands, but that has not come about by accident. That came about from New Zealand growers doing over 20 years ago what you are doing today, which is looking out at the world, having a belief in the value of kiwi fruit, and deciding that you could do better by working together. So our growers came together, they established what we call the single desk in New Zealand, and that has allowed us to build a world-leading brand. It has given us the scale to invest in our supply chain and to invest in our innovation program. So we have the world's largest kiwi fruit breeding program. We are here with the sole purpose of creating value for our growers. And these are, in many cases, small New Zealand growers. The average orchard size is around 4 hectares. So while the brand is large and while the export sector is large, we are owned by many small and some large growers. In terms of size, kiwi fruit is less than 1% of global fruit consumption. So we have a long way to go and a lot of confidence in the category. Every year we are seeing demand grow and we are investing a lot to build that demand. And every year we are exporting more to the market and getting more value for that fruit. And that is off the back of an outstanding product where we focus on growing in a way that meets our consumer needs, on making a positive contribution where we are in the world, and growing what we would argue, and your growers might disagree, is the world's best kiwi fruit. But like I say, a huge amount of confidence in the category, and we have a huge amount of confidence in the category in India. So it is a very small market for us now, but one we know there is a large and growing consumer base who are very focused on their health and well-being and want high-quality, nutritious products, which is exactly what kiwi fruit is.
This is a conversation that's been happening for a few years, and we've been trying to figure out how do we do, as what my former minister used to say, New Zealand's motto is to do good and be good in the world. And that's been part of our ethos, is how do we give back to the people of India. It's not good enough just to grow and send our produce over. We need to be supporting each other to work together. And so the Kiwi Fruit project was one that came up very early on. And from there we developed the Horticulture Memorandum of Cooperation. And that was signed and witnessed by our two Prime Ministers in March this year, when Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Luxon met. And that was a huge, momentous moment for us. It was then, at the same time, they decided to launch our free trade negotiation talks at the same time. And then part of those negotiations has been the proposal by New Zealand for what's called an agricultural productivity partnership. And so New Zealand's commitment to India through this is that we will support the development of not just the horticulture sector, although that's a huge key role for us, but the agricultural sector of India more broadly. So that's really where we're working towards.
We've been here, I would say, about 15 years. And over the last 15 years, our job has been essentially to grow the demand for the category. And we're working with distribution partners in India, and we're available, we try and make ourselves available in the large cities for now, with the large retailers for now, and the quick and e-commerce sectors as well to establish our distribution. But I think the larger job that we've done is we've invested a significant amount of money in this market to draw up the consumer demand. So people understand the nutritional benefits of this, what we call a superfood. Very rich in fiber, very rich in antioxidants, very rich in vitamin C particularly. So we have seen our consumers take a good liking for it. Specifically the Sunburn variety, which has been growing very fast. But the mainstay of the kiwi fruit category in India even today, over 90% of the consumption of kiwi fruit is in Dayward. And that's what's sort of native to Nagaland as well. And we'll see that growing and hoping to see more of the Indian produced kiwi fruit coming into the main markets as well. So the work that we do not only helps grow the demand for kiwi fruit out of New Zealand, but eventually, once there's enough production, once it's good for it to travel, once the infrastructure brings up over time, we'll also want to see kiwi fruit coming out from the northeast into the big cities. And what we're doing is we're kind of creating the roadmap for that. We're creating the blueprint for that to happen eventually. So
I think it's a really good vision that you've all got, and I love that you're all coming together and engaging. As Michael said, that's what makes it work. There is so much opportunity here, and I think the learning and the sharing together, the exchanges are going to be so important. I think that'll be one of the key things for us as farmer exchanges. Getting New Zealand farmers over to India, they'll be blown away. And getting Indian farmers down to New Zealand, I think will be just so worthwhile. And the industry will thrive on that. I think what we'd love to see in a COE is it is seeing as believing, so it's experimenting. So some organised experimentation where you have demos, but you have some thought into it together about what does this look like, because as you know, kiwi fruit's a long game, not a short game. So all the areas you mentioned, the pollination management, starting with certified disease-free planted propagation material is vital. And then your pollination, your pruning and training, your crop load management, your pruning at the correct times and how to do it, the structures, tip squeezing, all the tips and tricks. There's a lot we can do together, nutrient management. And I think the harvest maturity, Additional Secretary, we were having a discussion at dinner about, and it's not just this state, it's several states in India, harvesting too early and then sending poor fruit to market and creating a bad name for the fruit and ultimately, the brand of the kiwi fruit sector. So there's a lot there in that post-harvest space and that brand development and market development that's just got so much upside to it. Of course, there's challenges everywhere, and Nagaland does have its challenges, rainfall variability, especially as we move into more variable climates, climate change. Perhaps relative humidity, high humidity can be detrimental for kiwi fruit, so there might be some management around that we really need to focus on. And I think as we go through, we'll identify areas that are key gaps for research. And New Zealand has a strong education sector. I'm part of Crown Research Institute, so we really invest in science heavily, millions and millions and millions of dollars. And part of the beauty of that is the Masters and PhD programs that come through that. And I think there's a lot, when you have a nascent industry, you have so many questions, right? And a really good way to get more depth in a project is to have some key research scholarships maybe on both sides that help answer those questions along with the demos and more pragmatic stuff. You get deep into the science in areas as well. And I see a lot of opportunity here to answer some of those questions through doing that.
Boss! Boss! क्या बात है? Boss! जोरदार है? Boss! तूफान है? Boss! क्या बात है? Boss! क्या ठाट है? Boss!